Indonesia, world's largest island nation, Southeast Asia's largest economy, and the world's most populous island, recently come to the news because the Indonesian parliament recently passed a bill replacing its old capital with new one, Nusantara, situated to East Borneo Island. Hello everyone, welcome to the Power Academy. Here in this topic we will going to discuss why the Indonesia is moving its capital from the Jakarta to the Borneo's East Kalimantan. Is the Indonesia first country to relocate its capital? And how the Indonesia's new capital Nusantara is a throwback to the nation's Hindu heritage. Also, some of the other related things which is attached to this topic in the further discussion. So let's begin by saying that the Indonesian legislature passed that bill will going to create the legal framework for moving the country's sinking, congested, flood-prone, environmentally unsustainable capital Jakarta with more than 10 million population to the jungle of the Kalimantan of an area of 56,180 hectares. Previously, the various Indonesian presidents over decades planned to move capital from Jakarta, but that never happened. It is now actually happening under the Joko Widodo, the present president of the Indonesia. As the present capital Jakarta facing so many problems that includes the financial inequality too. That is why the Indonesia was planning to move their capital in 2019. But due to the coronavirus pandemic, they have to halt their proposed plan. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, Indonesia was also affected due to the spread of the coronavirus. That is why they have to postpone their plan. Now the real question is how they will going to manage the investment for the new capital. Because to build a new capital, huge investment, and with the investment, liquidity is also required. As we know, Indonesia moving its capital from Java to more than 1,000 kilometers away in Borneo, where they do not have any city or the conglomerate. It is a pure jungle, it is a rainforest. So to build the new capital, they have to come up with a huge investment projects first. And according to their government's estimate, the new capital will going to cost the Indonesian exchequer for 466 trillion rupiah, which is equivalent to $32.7 billion, which is a pretty massive amount. So the Indonesia came up with a plan, as they cannot invest the whole money because their economy is not that powerful to invest the whole 32.7 billion to make a new capital. That is why the state would fund 19% and the rest would come from the public-private investment or the public-private partnership and from the pure private investment. And Indonesia is planning to start the work on the capital before 2024 presidential election. Now our next question is, the next focus basically is why the Indonesia moving its capital from Jakarta to East Kalimantan's Nusantara. The first reason is to address inequality and relieving some of the burden on Jakarta, which is an island on Java. The Java is home to 60% of the country's population and it is the center of the country's economic activity. As we know, Indonesia is the largest archipelago consisting of 17,000 islands, but all these islands have been deprived of any economic activity. So because of that reason, our second point comes in. The Kalimantan, which is the Indonesia's Borneo island, is 4 times bigger than the Jakarta, but its contribution to the country's GDP is only 1/10. The third reason is Kalimantan is much more central among the Indonesia's archipelago of 17,000 islands. Also the Borneo island home for the 2 other countries. The one is palm-rich nation Malaysia and the crude oil-rich nation Brunei. Therefore, the location is very strategically important for Indonesia. And from Indonesian point of view, it will be easy for Indonesia to conduct their business with neighboring countries by using the cheap transportation and the logistics. So these are the reasons. And the fourth reason is Jakarta is struggling under the huge environmental burden. The air quality plunged to the record low. Living condition in the city deteriorated over the years. As a consequence, a group of activists and the environmentalists to sue the government to take the action to fix the problems within the Jakarta. And the last reason is Indonesia's capital is also sinking. Areas of the North Jakarta, including the seawall designed to protect the city, are falling at an estimated rate of 25 centimeter per year due to the subsidence. This city is also facing the scarcity of drinking water. So Jakarta rely largely on the wells extract waters from shallow aquifers. Due to the other reasons, the other reason related to the rain, which is Indonesia is a rain prone area. That is why the flood is very frequent within the city. So these are the reasons that force the government to think differently, to move the capital from the old to the new one. But this move is controversial. Why this move is controversial? Why some people raised their concerns about the moving the country's capital? Because Borneo, home to endangered species such as orang-utang, this island has also lost 30% of its forest in a little over 4 decades due to the palm oil plantations and the paper industry. As government is moving their capital to an region of the rainforest which is precious for environment, that is why the environmentalists raised their concern over the move. Why the Kalimantan will have the Indonesia's capital, then this will going to raise the economic activity within the region to the whole island, and all the government offices will be moved and the new places, which results the deforestations. Because of construction, deforestation is an evident, is will going to happen. So but the government has denied this concern because they said all financial activities will still be on Jakarta, and the Jakarta will remain be the commercial hub of the country. So the government has tried their best to quell the concerns of the environmentalists, because otherwise quelling these concerns the city cannot be moved. If they will, because the Indonesia is an democratic country, is these activists will going to go to the court, they will going to halt the projects, then there will be a further delay, because they were planning to move the capital in 2019. They are already late. They are planning to start the work in the 2024. They are 5 years late. So that is why government has gave the reasons that why they are shifting of this capital will not going to hurt the ecological balance within the island. And now why they choose the name Nusantara, and how this new capital is a throwback to the nation's Hindu heritage. Indonesia was home to the Hindu Empire, which included present-day Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, southern Thailand, Timor-Leste to the southwestern Philippines. The name of the new capital city dates back to the story from 14th century, when the Gajah Mada, the prime ministers of the Majapahit Empire, and its Hindu ruler Hayam Uruk took an oath that he would not eat any spice until he conquered all Nusantara. Mada, in all probability, meant that he would stick to his vow until he conquered the present-day Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, South Thailand and the Timor-Leste to the southwestern Philippines, which he did, and unified the entire archipelago Nusantara. And the Gajah Mada is also a national hero whose exploits were inspirational in Indonesia's struggle for independence centuries later. Indonesia's history was deeply influenced by Hinduism. Indian traders and the priests traveled to the Southeast Asian nation Indonesia. Indonesia's national emblem is Garuda, which is represented symbol of the Hindu mythology for being the mount of the Lord Vishnu. And the Kalimantan is also home to the major Hindu populations of Indonesia. There are 4 million population, those who are 4 million Hindu population, those who are living in Indonesia with 23 million Muslim population. Indonesian Hinduism is also hybrid of animist beliefs, Hinduism and the Buddhism. So due to the historic reasons, the capital is related to the nation's Hindu heritage. So that is why the Hindu heritage name came into an being, came into an limelight. And they are the very secular nations. That is why there won't be any problems by moving their capital to the Nusantara and by choosing the name. But in my view, this move of this capital is very unusual. As well as we know the other countries moved their capital before they moved their capital to the other planned cities. Like the Myanmar in 2005, Myanmar moved its capital from Yangon to the Naypyidaw. Australia also moved its capital to the another planned city Canberra in 1911. Along with that, the Brazil to replace the Rio de Janeiro with Brasilia in 1960s. But the Indonesia is not doing so, because Nusantara is not a planned city. It is a rainforest full of jungle. So they have to spend more money and they have to avoid this expense to save the exchequer money, because the government have to spend the exchequer money to build the new capital. That is why my advice, not my advice, is everyone concern is that how they will going to manage the money and how they will going to protect the environment of that island, because the island is very precious for and it is a rainforest. That is why the concern has grown. And now our question part, our today's question is, which of the following island in the disputed is the disputed island between India and the Bangladesh? The first option is New Moor, second option is Majuli, third option is Dibru Sakhiwa, and the fourth option is Umananda. And the next question is related to the UPSC, and the question is how India's exclusion from Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, which is RCEP, will going to affect the Southeast Asian nations. If anyone have a doubt about this topic or anyone wants to ask me any questions, you can reach me through my email address, which is tuhin.power.academy@gmail.com. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.